Well, now for a closer look at Italy's economy, let's bring in Andrea Montanino, Director of the Global Business and Economics Program at the Atlantic Council. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
So, Andrea, what do you think is putting the most pressure on Italy's economy right now?
I would say there are three elements. The first is an old story, is the public debt. Public debt in Italy is now at 130% of GDP, which is a huge number. Second is the banking system, the non-performing loans that are still high, even if they are declining. So I see good figures coming out. And probably the third reason is the political instability. After the French election and with the upcoming German elections in October, everybody sees Italy as a country where still there is instability from a political standpoint.
Now, we know that the EU has urged Italy to step up efforts on things like combating corruption, the bank reforms, and also an overhaul of property values for tax purposes. How is Italy doing on those fronts?
I think there are some overestimation in terms of corruption in Italy. There is, of course, as in many other places in the world, but I think it's getting better and better over time. There are a lot of agencies in charge to look at, and the prosecutors usually are able to get it. The tax system is a problem because taxes are very high, so it's difficult to see where you should tax and who you should tax. The Commission came out with a proposal on taxing houses, but I don't think the government agrees.
Now, how would you say Southern Europe's economy is faring compared to the rest of the bloc?
Well, first of all, Europe is getting back. 2017 is the fifth year in a row with a positive growth. Last year, Europe grew more than the United States. So overall, the situation is much better than in the past. Of course, countries like Italy, which is a large country in the Eurozone and the European economy, are lagging behind because they still need important reforms to make their markets more competitive. So Italy, Greece, even France, I would say, and Portugal needs to push this kind of reforms.
Now, something that obviously was continuing to make headlines is the migrant crisis. We know that Macron said that Europe had been deaf to Italy's calls about the migrant crisis, and Prime Minister Gentiloni wants a common migration policy for the bloc. How are things progressing on that front with the migrant crisis?
I think the migrant crisis is still there, and people are still coming, especially from Libya, so from the south, and they arrive mainly to Italy, so less in Greece right now. It's a European issue, and Europeans need to understand that external borders like Italy or Greece are borders of the whole European Union. So the matter is a European matter. I think the Italian Prime Minister should continue to push for a European solution, which means more money, first of all, and also some more solidarity.
And speaking of that solidarity, we know that with Macron's election in France, he's calling for deeper integration of the European Union. But there was still a lot of ground gained by a lot of anti-EU voices in that election. So in terms of getting the EU closer together, where are we looking at the moment, especially given Brexit as well?
Well, I think European leaders should be able to show to European citizens that sticking together brings value added. So they have to find areas where things together work better. Defense is one area. Probably a sort of common insurance scheme for unemployed can be another area. But overall investment, another area where Europe can do more. So if citizens see the benefit and direct benefit for staying together, I think the sentiment, the pro-Europe sentiment can grow.
And given that the German elections are coming up at the end of the year, how much of that solidarity is riding on what happens in Germany's election?
Well, I mean, Germany is a stable country. I mean, whether Merkel win again or Schulz win, the country will not change a lot. What I hope is that after the elections, the German Chancellor and the French President, hopefully together with the Prime Minister of Italy, can sit together and think about the new Europe. They have to give the direction, and the direction is for more integration.
And certainly a lot of direction people are still waiting for. Thank you so much, as always. Andrea Montanino, Director of the Global Business and Economics Program at the Atlantic Council.